We were one of the top 10 money-making teams. I was really humbled when Angelina asked my family and me to serve as the 2013 family chair for Houston's NAMI Walk. And I had to ask myself, what could I possibly have to offer? What could I possibly share with all of you that could even begin to pay back what NAMI has done for us? The answer is simply our story. If we've learned one thing through our experiences with NAMI, it's that knowing we are not alone makes all the difference. As I started to try to figure out what to say here, and Angelina told me I only had 5 minutes, so I went all the way back to the beginning. My initial intent was to share with every one of you all the different ways mental illness has touched our family over the years. That would have been a really long story, so suffice it to say it's been rough. What was difficult for us might be nothing to you. What was difficult for you might be insurmountable to us, or vice versa. We all have our own battles to fight, and they are all difficult in their own way. So instead of telling our whole life story, I'm going to give you some recent highlights. My oldest son, Spencer, will be 20 this summer. He was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder during the spring of his senior year of high school. Shortly thereafter, we had him hospitalized on a mental health warrant, and a big shout out to our crisis intervention teams for handling that so well. Very, very smooth time, and you guys made it a lot easier for us, so I really appreciate that. On the mental health warrant, he spent 3 weeks at Kingwood Pines. He refused to speak with us until the day before his commitment hearing. We are grateful to whoever it was there that convinced him that his plan to hitchhike to Austin and live under a bridge while he looked for work would not impress the judge as much as being told that we were helping him. Based on the advice of his first psychiatrist, we hired an educational consultant to help us find a transitional program for Spencer. At that time, we knew we couldn't handle him at home. He went straight from Kingwood Pines to a program in northern Idaho. It was the wrong program. Sadly, when you put a disorganized mind into a disorganized environment, you have a recipe for disaster. While many people with severe mental illness suffer from agnosia, Spencer is blessed, or cursed, depending on how you look at it, with a very in-depth knowledge of his illness. He knows exactly what he's lost. 4 months after entering the program in Idaho, Spencer simply walked away. He didn't tell anyone. He didn't write a note. He had made a decision that he wanted to die, and he wasn't about to give anyone the opportunity to stop him from doing so. He walked to a store and bought 3 bottles of Benadryl and swallowed them all. We received a phone call from the program letting us know that they couldn't find it. About an hour later, we received a phone call from the local Idaho Police Department saying that Spencer had been found unconscious and seizing on the floor in a dressing room at Sears. He was in the ICU for nearly a week and in the hospital, both medical and behavioral, for several more. We nearly lost him forever. We brought him home after that because we didn't know what else to do. We brought him home with the caveats that he must remain in treatment, that he must continue taking his medications, that he must complete the extended day outpatient, that his new outpatient program, that his new patient, I can't talk anymore, that his new psychiatrist recommended, and that he must not lock himself in his room ever again. Other than that, we were lost. Thankfully, through the luck of finding not one but 2 incredible therapists and an incredible psychiatrist, we had the beginnings of a support system that extended beyond our immediate family and close friends. Our family therapist recommended getting in touch with NAMI, and I made a few futile attempts to get in touch with the Montgomery County affiliate, which didn't actually exist. I almost gave up when I couldn't reach anyone. Thank goodness I didn't. This is just one of many reasons that NAMI needs donations from events like NAMI Walks, and why the efforts of each and every one of you is so incredibly important. Within a few weeks of calling NAMI West Houston, my husband and I were taking a family-to-family class. It was a long drive, but we made it every single week. We never missed a class. We met people with stories just like ours. We made lifelong friends. We learned from our amazing facilitators. We learned from each other. We learned a different way to look at our son's behavior. We learned that mental illness is just that, an illness, and that we needed to begin to recognize it as such. We learned, most importantly, that we were not alone. Since taking that first class, our lives have changed a lot. Spencer took NAMI's peer-to-peer class and realized that in spite of, or perhaps because of his illness, he has the ability to help others. He is planning on participating in the next training session to become a NAMI peer-to-peer facilitator. He's currently taking online college courses. He just registered for a class called Discrete Mathematics. If anybody can explain to me what that is, I'd appreciate it. He is working part-time at Walmart as a cashier, and they have been fantastic about scheduling accommodations for him. And he is living in his own apartment. A year ago, I would have never thought any of that was possible, but it's true. We still have our ups and downs. Shortly after moving into his apartment, Spencer had a down. He was struggling with medication changes and realized that he would be safer at the hospital and asked to be taken there. There is a big difference between being forced to go to the hospital on a warrant and choosing to go. He stayed there for 11 days this time. We visited or spoke every day. He told me early on in his stay that this was his most productive hospitalization. When I asked him what he meant, he said, "We're a team now." Thank you, NAMI, for helping our family become a team again. Thank you, NAMI, for helping us become a family again. Thank you, NAMI, for teaching us that we're not alone. And much, much thanks to each and every one of you for your continued efforts to spread the word and support this life-saving and life-changing organization.